Hey folks, welcome to B5 Bricks. In today's video, this is my take on the new Tumbler from LEGO. I've used set 76240 as a basis for this MOC. It's extended in length, a fully tiled and more accurate rooftop exterior, larger smoother front wheels, a rebuilt rear section and way more accurate fins. I've also added additional greebling to the body, and my aim with this MOC is more accuracy. Before I move on to all the details, how it was done and my research, I'll dwell a bit longer on the footage of the MOC. I've had a few people mention that I don't show the finished MOC long enough, and I know people want to see it to copy some of the details, so I'll try and do that more in future videos as well. I have used a few photos of the real prop vehicle, and of course did end up rewatching Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, which is fine. Did that last week on my day off, and I tried to pause it at key moments, but you know what? The best bit of footage I've come across is right here on YouTube, and it was Jay Leno's video. Here's a tiny clip which I found extremely useful to get the accuracy of the shape and stuff. So let me just say, the original set is fantastic. It's a great price and it's big as well, but there's some really annoying aspects to it. The first big problem is these bloody tyres. They're so wrong. Stud shooters are essential for playability, I get it, but nah, they look terrible. The rooftop hatch, all those studs, no thank you. These fins are odd too, too wee and wide. Around the back, this bit is great, but the hubs for the wheels though, no. These fins, studs. This whole top section, oh man, why? It doesn't need to be like this. But great addition with the black fear toxin head, that's a nice touch. And Scarecrow is a great minifigure too, as is the Batman in this set. I can't show too much of this, but when you actually look at it, trust me, when you see it up close, you can see these annoying wee things that should have been achieved at this scale. Really obvious stuff on the original vehicle. So here's a side-by-side comparison of the rear. And these fins aren't anything amazing, but just some simple tiles, those Nexo Knights shield pieces just clipped onto this round bar piece, which is also hinged. It's a pretty common part in black as well, and it was the easiest way to add the fins, but also give some movement. And on the real thing, this bit in the middle has this kind of bar structure on it as well. The 4 fins have been swapped out for 6 stud long tiles. I've attached them the same way, but extended the gold clips by 1 stud in the middle and used these sort of little frying pan pieces to hold it on. It really changes the profile and makes it more streamlined, and the extra width is way more accurate as well. Look, I'm not completely adverse to studs, a few are okay, and it is LEGO of course, but why invent shape tiles and not use them? They had 2 at the back, but left the whole top front area exposed with studs. I've removed the angled plate that was here underneath and added several tiles. The triangular ones are essential, and the real thing very clearly has a spear shaped point on the top. See for yourself in the middle there, it's quite obvious and it should have been done on the set. With the new pieces, it still opens fully as before, as there's no additional layer of stud work on top. These lateral bars are fine, but there was a bloody big gap here, which I filled with a Nexo Knight shield on a hinge. Super simple, but it looks spot on. The other key thing for me was to extend the chassis, as I mentioned earlier, to accommodate these much larger wheels. I'll flip it over to show you. These Technic beams were 8 studs long, but I swapped them out for 10 studs, and that's all it took to fit the wheels, just 2 studs difference. It has left this 3 stud section on the outside, which is because these bits are offset by a stud. So I attached this 3x3 plate with some slopes, which has me hinge on the other side, dead easy, and it works a treat. This bit here is still the same length, but I swapped out the dark grey tile and a few other odd bits, then added the black headrest piece instead, as this bit is definitely rectangular on the real Tumbler. It's really easy to do, and I actually can't see why LEGO didn't do this. This area on the 89 Batmobile is round, and they always get that right somehow, so no excuse to not get this rectangular piece on the Tumbler. It's very clearly that shape. Okay, the wheel. Look at this shambles. What? They should be smooth like this, but these are too small, so you have to jump up another size to these kind, which are big enough and smooth enough. There's still that 2-stud gap in the middle, with this section not rubbing against the tyres. Oh, look at that, way better! This thing is meant to drive through walls and over cars, jump over riversides, and on rooftops. They should be big, robust tyres. I can't fathom why LEGO used those teensy treaded ones. Now the rear also had these grey Technic pieces. I understand why they used it, as the wheels are black with silver rims, but to me they don't look right, and when you actually look at it on screen and in photos, they're noticeably more black. But that's probably because it's mostly at night, so I removed them and I swapped the wheel around. In daylight the chrome is more noticeable, but I still think the black looks way better and more accurate to how it appears on screen in the movies. So if you're going to swap out the tyres, at this point in the build, swap these for 10 stud long Technic pieces instead, and remove the stud shooters as well. The rest of the build is essentially the same, but you need to fill in the gaps on the side with slopes or greebling, so however you want to do that. This rear section is a bit more complex. I swapped the grey hinges first though for black, as obviously it is black, and what I did was actually use one of the original fins in the middle and used that bar piece just behind it. This means it's sort of smooth, but still allows the rooftop to open. On that plate as well, there's a hinge on a jumper plate to attach the round bar piece at the back. Easy. Again, the rooftop just to show you the difference, and if you want to do this, just pause it and see the tiles I've used, or even make it better, just get rid of those studs. For the wheels, like I said, the extended chassis does the job, and you can use the same brown axle pieces, and you don't need to add a bowl on the end to keep them on. I actually put a bowl on the other side to make sure it didn't rub against the Technic arm bit. Around the back, just turn the outer wheels around and get rid of the grey Technic disc pieces. So it's just as sturdy as the original, which I have to say was a solid build already. And I find when lifting it, this area at the rear is best to pick it up. My kids played with this for 3 hours this afternoon. They drove it around like so. They had made walls and put crates in the road for it to bash through and drive over, and even had it climb over a Gotham PD car. It was brilliant. It's a very cool toy, and I think I've made it better and more playable, as those big wheels up front mean it can go anywhere, and it did. They were on the sofa, on the bed covers, through a woolly carpet as well. Hey, so I'm a mega Batman fan. I grew up on the animated series, but I loved the 89 Batmobile, and my favourite film was Batman Returns as a kid. I loved Batman Forever and thought that the Batmobile was cool, but I never felt they were realistic looking. However, the animated series kinda explained the origin of the Batmobile as a custom build by a coach builder friend of Bruce, but Batman Begins had a solid backstory that Christopher Nolan really thought of, so the Batmobile, the Tumbler in action, was a real spectacle and believable in universe, especially when you know they really made this thing jump and use practical vehicles and effects and no CGI. I hope I've improved upon the excellent LEGO design, and I hope you give it a go as well. You'll not be disappointed when you do something similar and cover up the studs. Anyway, please rate my MOC, with 1 being the worst to 5 being the best. I'd love to know what you think, and please like the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the same bat channel at the same bat time. Bye!